So I tuned in and watched the beginning of the Democratic National Convention's final day. After days had gone by where they had said they weren't going to support Israel. Wise move. Hey, New York Jews, go ahead and vote for him now, okay? Because you're going to do it anyway. And they're not going to say or acknowledge the existence of God anymore, followed by Michelle Obama and Barack Obama both saying, God bless America. So, what is this God you speak of, Obama? You know, by the way, the reason Democrats won't say the word God is because they think it's pronounced Obama. Back to my original point, they trotted out Gabrielle Giffords. Now, for those who don't know, Gabrielle Giffords is the Arizona Democrat who got shot a couple of years ago outside of a Safeway grocery store, along with several elderly people and a young child who was only 9 years old at the time. And most of them did not survive. Gabrielle Giffords did, and congratulations to her for doing so. She came out and she said the Pledge of Allegiance, and I guess she didn't get the memo because she said under God, as it should be. But one has to wonder, if the shoe was on the other foot or the gunshot was to a different party member, would the media have presented it that Bush had her shot intentionally so he could use her as a political football? I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know it sounds absurd. Don't get me wrong, but so does saying that George Bush controls Mother Nature and caused the hurricane in Louisiana. By the way, how they doing? I guess Obama doesn't like black people either. As I watched the president's speech as he tried to go through a laundry list of things that he did not do that he promised 4 years ago, which everybody that had a brain knew he wouldn't do, which unfortunately means the majority of Americans don't have brains or are easily manipulated. His list got smaller and smaller for the next 4 years, and the promises got less and less drastic. And I think that the new slogan for his campaign should be, yes, I can, but, yes, I can, but. 25 years ago, we had Ronald Reagan, Bob Hope, and Johnny Cash. Now we have Obama, no hope, and no cash. The overwhelming majority of the content of both parties' speeches have been about jobs and the lack thereof. Now, everybody can point fingers and say this is the person who caused it, this is the person who caused it. The bottom line is the president, who has been in power for 4 years, takes the blame. He can't blame the previous guy anymore. 4 years is enough time to get something done. He hasn't. That said, I open my front door and I hear people working on houses, building houses in the new development that I live in, and not many of them are speaking English. As a matter of fact, none of them are. I go down to IHOP and get myself a pancake breakfast. Kitchen door opens, and guess what language I hear coming out of the kitchen? Take a guess. It's not English. The thing that Democrats will do is say, oh, well, they do jobs Americans won't do. Really? We won't build houses? We won't make pancakes? When did this happen? And then you'll get Democrats who also say, they pay taxes, and they find a Filipino newscaster who did pay taxes and say, look, we found one. He paid taxes. We found one. He paid taxes. He's an example of all of them. Well, no, he's not Mexican. A, wrong. B, he paid taxes. They didn't. He did. They didn't. There's a difference. There's a reason you only bring out the one example when you talk about they pay taxes. If they pay taxes based on what Social Security number? Because when you come to this country, you get either a Social Security number if you're a citizen or a tax ID number if you're a legal resident. Which do they have? Neither. Thank you. They do not pay taxes. You're wrong. Stop saying bullshit and stop convincing the naive that you're telling the truth. 23 million Americans out of work. 18 million illegal immigrants, not Americans, pardon my French, with jobs based on false Social Security numbers or fraudulently employed by businesses that should know better. Take away 18 million unlawful jobs. Give them to the 18 millions of Americans who don't have jobs, and we only have 5 million unemployed. That sounds more like it, doesn't it? Oddly enough, no real mention about health care. Nobody's talking about Obamacare at the Democratic National Convention. Why is that? Because Americans know it's a loser. They have it already in Canada. You know what happens in Canada? You fall and hit your head, you die. You know what happens in the UK? You're going to pregnancy, you give birth on an elevator because they don't have enough rooms because of all the bullshit cases that they have there. Free healthcare doesn't work. Look at the examples that are in practice and you'll find that out for yourself. And if you think it's free, you're fooling yourselves because you're going to pay it in taxes out the ass. An involuntary tax will be put onto you to pay out. But no, let's not mention that. Let's not mention the thing that we had to do to satisfy drunken Ted. Speaking of which, John Kerry was there. I've got to tell you that I'm not really a robot. Am I so glad we didn't elect this guy? Here's a guy that has no charisma, complete elitist, completely condescending, completely sanctimonious. Hey, you know what? He's the white Obama. Makes you wonder what would have happened if he was black. Probably coming to the end of his second term now. Anyway, that's the end of my rant. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want more, I can always do more. If you think I suck, you're wrong. Have a nice day, guys, and I'll see you next time.